Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a piece of everyday kitchen engineering that is just brilliantly specialized. We're breaking down a tool that perfectly bridges the gap between biological form and mechanical function, examining exactly how its physical design dictates its highly specific use. It's absolute proof that sometimes the most brilliant engineering is hiding right there in your kitchen drawer, just waiting to turn a super frustrating chore into a moment of pure efficiency.
But first, I want you to think about your own time in the kitchen. Seriously, how much time do you actually waste picking tiny, stubborn leaves off woody stems? If you cook with fresh ingredients, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're prepping a beautiful dinner, and suddenly you find yourself meticulously, painstakingly pinching and pulling at a sprig of thyme or rosemary. Then the stem snaps, the tiny leaves scatter everywhere, you end up with sticky fingers stained green with essential oils, maybe a ruined manicure, and a bruised, pathetic little pile of herbs on your cutting board. It's a universal, incredibly tedious chore that completely halts your momentum right when you're trying to get a meal on the table.
Well, there's actually an engineered solution to this, which is a stainless steel herb stripper. It's a fantastic example of how pure mechanical leverage can just completely replace tedious manual labor. Instead of using your fragile fingernails, this simple device applies a rigid, unyielding edge against the stem, turning a frustrating multi-mess process into one fluid, extremely satisfying motion. Honestly, it's the kind of tool that makes you wonder how you ever survive the kitchen without it.
So, let's get right into the anatomy of the tool, where form really does follow function. To really understand how this works, we can basically treat the physical design of this device as a blueprint of very deliberate choices. Breaking down its anatomy, four major elements jump out right away. First, you've got the smooth stainless steel body. This material choice is absolutely vital. It's rigid, sanitary, super easy to clean, and perfectly capable of handling repetitive force without bending or warping over time. Second, there are graduated stripping holes running sequentially along the top arm. Third, check out that distinct curved front edge, which flares outward almost like a functional little shield. And finally, the whole tool operates on a tweezer-like ergonomic grip at the base, letting you just pinch the two arms together with barely any effort.
What's totally fascinating here is how the purpose of those different size cutouts is so clear just from observing the process in action. Along the top edge, there's a series of circular cutouts that steadily increase in size from left to right. When a stem is threaded through one of the smaller openings, it's matched perfectly to its gauge. The designers didn't just guess an average size and hope for the best. They clearly recognized that plant stems vary wildly in thickness and density, and they built a true multi-tool to accommodate all of them.
And that gradation is entirely intentional. The smallest holes are perfectly gauged for tiny, rigid, woody stems like rosemary or thyme. You know, the ones that just snap if you use a hole that's too big, leaving little wooden splinters in your dish. Step up to the medium holes, and you can easily handle slightly thicker, softer, more pliable stems like tarragon or oregano. And those large, prominent cutouts at the base of the sequence, those are wide enough for thick, fibrous stalks, like the tough ribs you'd find on kale, chard, or collard greens. It pretty much guarantees that no stem is too thick to fit, and absolutely no stem is too thin to be effectively stripped.
Next up, the mechanics of the pull, which gives us a kinetic breakdown of the tool in motion.
Transitioning from the static anatomy to the actual kinetic physics of using it, it's a very specific micro-narrative happening in just a fraction of a second. Step 1. You insert the root end of the whole stem into the hole that best matches its diameter, threading it through just enough to grab the other side. Step 2. Anchor the tool firmly in your hand, pinching those tweezer-like arms together to secure the grip. And Step 3. Your opposite hand pulls the stem cleanly through in one fast, really satisfying zip. The physics rely entirely on that firm pinch and the scraping resistance of the soft plant matter hitting the rigid metal edge.
And this separation happens so cleanly in real time. The bare stem exits completely stripped on one side, tightly held by your pulling fingers. Meanwhile, all those lush green leaves get trapped. Because the leaves themselves are naturally wider than the hole the stem is sliding through, they bunch up and gather on the opposite side. They're perfectly blocked by that flared, curved metal guard we talked about earlier. It creates a neat little pile ready for chopping instead of a massive mess scattered all over your kitchen counter.
Now compare this to the manual pinch and slide method for a second. When you use your own thumb and index finger, dragging them aggressively down a rough, sometimes prickly stem, it's highly inefficient. Your fingertips end up heavily stained green, and half the leaves literally fly across the cutting board, onto the floor, or just get completely crushed in your grip. Contrast that messy reality with an engineered pull. The rigid edge of the tool takes all the friction, resulting in a clean, contained, and highly efficient interaction between hard steel and soft vegetation. What we're really talking about here is basic mechanical leverage. That ergonomic grip allows you to apply a consistent, strong pinch with barely any physical effort. The tool essentially acts as a rigid extension of your hand. It multiplies your force to easily overcome the plant's natural resistance, the stubborn way those leaves cling to the stem. The steel does the hard work so your joints don't have to. It prevents hand fatigue while ensuring a perfectly clean strip every single time, saving you time and a lot of physical wear and tear.
So the crucial point is that this isn't just some random, decorative piece of bent metal. Every single curve, every graduated hole, the tension of the tweezer grip, and that flared guard, they all exist strictly to execute one highly specific action flawlessly. It's the absolute embodiment of that classic design principle: form follows function. The tool looks the way it does solely because of what it's required to do.
Ultimately, there is something incredibly satisfying about seeing simple mechanical leverage defeat tedious manual labor so elegantly. Appreciating the engineering behind our everyday objects, even something as seemingly minor and hyper-specific as a stainless steel herb stripper, really can elevate our daily routines. It completely shifts our perspective, turning a mundane, annoying kitchen chore into a brief, super satisfying moment of pure efficiency and clever design.
Which leaves us with a pretty compelling question to ponder. If a single piece of specifically bent steel can completely transform a frustrating kitchen chore into an absolute breeze, what other tedious daily tasks in our lives are just waiting for the perfect, hyper-specialized design solution? Keep an eye on the everyday objects around you because you might just be looking at a masterclass in engineering hidden right in plain sight. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep looking for the brilliant design